Throughout history, many crowns have been crafted that are not only symbols of power, but also stunning works of art. Headpieces like crowns, diadems have been worn by significant historical personalities, like kings and queens, empresses, and holy rulers, for thousands of years. In certain ways, a person's significance increased with the size of their crown. But how many of the jewels survive to this day? Can we look at them? No doubt, among many nations, there are several crowns that stand out as the oldest and most beautiful of all time. We have gathered 15 of the most meaningful and literally historic pieces to give you an insight into centuries-old coronation regalia. Of course, by the end of the video, you will also see more modern pieces like the Imperial State Crown and the State Diadem. Let's not waste time and jump straight to the era of the Sila Kingdom on the Korean Peninsula. The Crown of Sila. A collection of golden and bronze crowns made between the 5th and 7th centuries, which were concealed in burial grounds for centuries before being uncovered by chance in 1921, are among the most remarkable relics from the long-gone state of the Sila Kingdom, which ruled parts of the Korean Peninsula during the early Middle Ages. The Sila gold crowns often consist of 3 pieces that are likely worn together: a diadem, a piece that fits into the cap in the shape of a wing or butterfly, and an openwork tall conical cap. A connection to Scytho-Siberian shamanism is suggested by the diadem's towering vertical antlers on the sides and tree-like structures with U-shaped branches on the front. Pendant-adorned chains hang from the side of the crown. The diadems range in height from 30 to 45 centimeters. They are adorned with granulation, punched dots, riveting, filigree, suspended discs or spangles, and pendants of twisted gold wire adorned with crescent-shaped jade pendants. They are made of thin pieces of cut-sheet gold. These crowns are regarded as masterpieces and some of the most significant pieces of Korean heritage. The Crown of St. Wenceslas. The Crown of St. Wenceslas is another crown that is renowned for its beauty and historical significance. This crown dates back to the 14th century and is associated with the Czech Republic's patron Saint Wenceslas, a devout Christian ruler who was venerated as a saint in the Catholic Church. Featuring 19 sapphires, 44 spinels, 30 emeralds, and 1 red elbaty, it was crafted from 22-karat gold. The intricate design and craftsmanship of this crown make it a true masterpiece of medieval art. During the day of Charles IV, the crown was altered many times and set with additional rare precious stones. According to a well-known legend, if an invader puts the crown on their head, they will be doomed to die violently the next year. During times of war, invasion, and political turmoil, the crown has been stolen, lost, and damaged multiple times. Today, the crown of St. Wenceslas is housed in the Prague Castle, in a room that is not open to the public above the Chapel of St. Wenceslas, the resting place of the saint's remains. The Diadem of Princess Sit-Hathor Unit. One of the oldest diadems on this list is an ancient head ornament that belonged to the daughter of an ancient Egyptian king from the 12th dynasty. Although a niche in the burial place escaped the looter's attention, grave robbers had broken into her tomb in earlier ages. In the 20th century, archaeologists found jewelry cases that included the diadem. This Egyptian diadem is designed as a circular band of gold, decorated with a uraeus or rearing cobra at the front, and 15 rosettes, with 2 gold plumes and 6 bands of gold hand down from the diadem. It would have been worn over a wig composed of numerous long braids secured with tiny gold clasps. The eyes of the uraeus are garnets set in gold rims, while the head is composed of lapis lazuli. Can you just imagine making this diadem at that ancient time? Thankfully, the surviving samples give us a pop of Egyptian craftsmanship. The Crown of the Andes. A magnificent work of religious art with particular historical significance is the Crown of the Andes, also referred to as the Crown of the Virgin. Gold, flower clusters, representing purity, and 450 emeralds, the largest of which is the Atahualpa emerald, adorn the base of the crown. It is possible that the last one was taken from the Incan emperor Atahualpa by a Spanish invader. It is thought to have been made to adorn a figure of the Virgin Mary that was larger than life in the early 16th century. The crown, which had been the charm for generations, was on display at a number of locations, such as Macy's in Manhattan and General Motors in Detroit. As part of the museum's collection of religious art and artifacts, the Crown of the Andes is currently on exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Vajracharya Crown. While we feature mostly pieces worn by kings and queens, one piece of old Nepal priests deserves your attention. Vajracharya priests, who held the highest position in the Nepalese Buddhist community, wore elaborate crowns like this one. A remembrance of earlier, now extinct Indian Buddhist customs, the conical crown is exclusive to Newari Buddhism. Both a caste and a family name are indicated by the term Vajracharya, which grants its bearers the right to carry out reserved priestly duties, similar to those enjoyed by Hindu Brahmins. A sequence of diadem plates that portray the kindly and wrathful reflections of wisdom dominate this exceptionally complicated crown. The Vajra, a 5-pronged thunderbolt scepter, is used to top it all. This particular crown exemplifies the fine hammered metalwork technique known as repoussé, for which Nepalese artisans are renowned to this day. The Iron Crown of Lombardy. Another ancient crown that is considered one of the most beautiful of all time is the Iron Crown of Lombardy. This crown is believed to date back to the 4th century AD and is one of the oldest royal crowns still in existence. Made of gold and iron, the crown is set with precious gemstones and enamel decoration, giving it a unique and captivating appearance. One of the most famous wearers of the crown was Charlemagne, who was crowned King of the Lombards in 774. Charlemagne was later crowned Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire in 800, solidifying the crown's importance in European history. But where is it now? The crown is currently housed in the Cathedral of Monza, outside Milan. It is kept in a gold reliquary and is only displayed to the public on special occasions. Holy Crown of Hungary. The earliest components of this exquisite headpiece are thought to date from the 11th century, making it one of just 2 Byzantine crowns that have survived to this day. A strong reminder of Hungary's rich history and cultural legacy, the Holy Crown of Hungary, also called the Crown of St. Stephen, is crafted from pure gold and embellished with numerous priceless stones. Corona Graeca, the lower, round portion of the crown, and Corona Latina, the higher cross-shaped portion, are its 2 main components. Additionally, the little pendants are suspended from short chains in the rear and on both sides. In the century that followed, the arches and upper rim made of plaques with alternating pointed and round tops were added. Nearly every Hungarian coronation, including the final one in 1916 for King Charles IV, used this holy crown. Crown of Princess Blanche. The Bohemian crown, which dates from 1370 to 1380, is renowned for being the oldest royal crown still in existence in England. Before being granted to the House of Wittelsbach as part of the dowry of Blanche of England, daughter of King Henry IV, it most likely belonged to Queen Anne of Bohemia, wife of English King Richard II. Equal in diameter and height, a solitary ruby and a cluster of pearls meet the corners of the alternating red and blue enamel surround of the 12 sapphires that surround the band of this richly bejeweled gold crown. From the center of each, a long stem emerges, ending in a fleur-de-lis design, adorned with sapphires, rubies, and emeralds, and crowned with 3 little pearls, making it one of the finest achievements of the Gothic goldsmith. But where is it now? Does it still exist? The answer is yes. Together with other gems from the Palatine branch of the Wittelsbach dynasty, it was moved to the Munich treasury in 1782. The Crown of Louis XV. A representation of the French monarchy, the Crown of Louis XV was created in 1722 by Claude Rondet, a French crown jeweler, for King Louis XV to wear during his coronation. More than 2,800 diamonds, including the well-known Regent diamond, are set into the gold crown, which is appropriate for the illustrious title of King of the Sun. One of the most well-known diamonds in the world, the 140-carat Regent, is renowned for its incredible size, weight, and clarity. It is also regarded as of the first water, meaning it is completely translucent. However, the crown was looted and nearly destroyed during the French Revolution in 1792. Today, the newly constructed crown can be found on display in the Louvre at the Galerie d'Apollon. separately from the regent diamond. Crown of the Holy Roman Empire. Surprisingly, the headpiece was created for Otto the Great in the 10th century, despite being called Charlemagne's crown. It was made for the Holy Roman Emperor in the Byzantine style and was incredibly magnificent. Up until the fall of the empire in 1806, official coronations were held under the imperial crown. The crown is made of 8 round-topped plaques of gold hinged together and kept rigid by an interior ring of iron. It is decorated with jewels and enamel in the Byzantine style, kept in the free imperial city of Nuremberg. From the 15th century onwards, the crown was taken to Vienna in 1796 to prevent it from falling into the hands of Napoleon. Since that time, with the exception of the National Socialist era, it has been preserved in the Vienna treasury. Napoleon I's crown. The crown of Napoleon I, created for his coronation on the 2nd of December 1804, is based on the crown of Charlemagne. This name allowed Napoleon to compare himself to the famed medieval monarch Charlemagne, King of the Franks and Holy Roman Emperor. 8 half-arches with carved carnelians and shell cameos make up the crown, which culminates in a golden globe with a cross on top. The crown itself lacks the prominent covering of diamonds and jewels that was common in crowns, made later in the 19th century, but is more medieval in style, depending entirely on gold and metallic decoration. However, Napoleon used 2 crowns at his coronation, which was held at Notre Dame Cathedral rather than Reims Cathedral, the customary site of French royal coronations. He first crowned his own head with a laurel crown of the Roman emperors. He then touched the imperial crown to his Empress Josephine's head, after momentarily placing it on his own. Only a handful of crowns were kept for historical reasons, and they had their precious jewels replaced in them by decorated glass. Napoleon I's crown was one of the few kept, which is now on display in the Louvre Museum in Paris. Empress Eugenie's crown. Eugenie de Montijo, the Empress consort of Napoleon III, the French emperor, had her personal crown, which is widely known as the crown of Empress Eugenie. The piece was made solely for her in honor of the 1855 Exposition Universelle in Paris, even though neither she nor her husband had a coronation ceremony. The Empress's crown is adorned with 102 brilliant cut diamonds from the Diamonds of the Crown of France, and is made up of bands made up of 8 chased golden eagle's wings that alternate with 8 palmettes that are extended by a big palm. 56 emeralds and 1,252 brilliant cut diamonds, which were funded by the imperial budget, were added to make it more elaborate. During the same period, a crown was made for Napoleon III, which was known as the Crown of Napoleon III. After the Franco-Prussian War, they lived in exile at Chislehurst, England. In 1885, the Third Republic sold the majority of the French crown jewels, including Napoleon III's crown. The former empress, however, received the crown of Empress Eugenie back and gave it to Princess Marie-Clotilde Bonaparte, who eventually sold the crown, making its way to the Louvre. The Cameo Tiara. Worn by Swedish queens, the tiara was a gift from Empress Josephine sometime during 1809. The cameo pieces were never intended to be paired with each other, which explains the differing sizes and colors. It ended up with the Swedish royal family after Josephine's granddaughter, Josephine of Leuchtenberg, brought it with her for her marriage to the future King Oscar I of Sweden and Norway. The tiara consists of seed pearls set in red gold, topped by the cameos, and is the part of a parure making up a necklace, pair of earrings, bracelet, and brooch. Now the Swedish royal family, known as the House of Bernadotte, is the sole owner of the Cameo Tiara and has been worn by Queen Sylvia, and memorably by Crown Princess Victoria. The tiara manages to be impressive without the use of a single diamond, as it reminds of the imagery that calls back to the ancient rulers of Greece and Italy. And what do you think? Do you like this piece? And finally, we are getting closer to the British crown jewels. The Imperial State Crown. One of the most famous crowns in history is the crown jewels of the United Kingdom, which includes the Imperial State Crown and the Sovereign's Scepter with Cross. But did you know that the Imperial State Crown has existed since the 15th century? Used in coronations and other state events, it contains the famous Black Prince's ruby, the Cullinan II diamond, the Stuart sapphire, St. Edward's sapphire, over 2,800 diamonds, 15 more sapphires, 11 emeralds, and 4 rubies. The crosses alternate with 4 fleur-de-lis, each with a mixed-cut ruby in the center. Both crosses and fleur-de-lis are further mounted with diamonds. The facts state that the St. Edward's sapphire on the top cross was reputedly taken from the ring of Edward the Confessor when he was reinterred at Westminster Abbey in 1163. The crown is fitted with a purple velvet cap and ermine band. Small plates on the reverse of the Black Prince's ruby and the Stuart sapphire are engraved to commemorate the history of the crown. As part of the British crown jewels, the crown is held in the Tower of London. The State Diadem. Although originally commissioned for King George IV, the diadem has been worn almost exclusively by queens. With George's reign lasting only a short time, the diadem passed to his sister-in-law, Queen Adelaide, within a decade of its creation. Since then, it has remained in the jewelry collection of every British queen, both regnant and consort, including Queen Victoria, Alexandra, Mary, Elizabeth the Queen Mother, and Elizabeth II. A diadem lined in silver and gold is designed with an openwork frame set transparent with diamonds on a narrow pearl-edged band, with 4 crosses padded on top and the front cross set with a pale yellow brilliant. The sprays symbolize the national symbols of Scotland, England, and Ireland: thistles, roses, and shamrocks. Totaling 1,333 diamonds, a 4-carat light yellow brilliant is set in the front cross's center. In 2023, during King Charles's inaugural state opening of Parliament as monarch, Queen Camilla wore a notable piece of royal jewelry for the first time, upholding the tradition set by her predecessors. As of now, you just have watched 15 old crowns and diadems from different parts of the world, and historic times, like the Korean Sila Kingdom, ancient Egypt, Napoleonic times, Holy Roman Empire, and up today, with the still-in-use British State Diadem and Imperial State Crown. Now we want to ask you if you like this sort of video. Do you like watching stories about ancient jewelry and artifacts? Give us ideas about the theme you want to watch the next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's embark on our next journey together.